go, Lloyd, aka MegaBlitzz. In today's video, we're looking at all the Day 2 decks from regional Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm really excited to kind of look through these deck lists because this is the first regional of the 2025 season. Now, this isn't going to have all the new Stellar Crown stuff that everybody's been playing and kind of talking about on YouTube. However, there's still going to be some really cool decks and a lot of this stuff actually going to transfer over even after Stellar Crown is released, and I'm really excited to kind of start talking about some of these decks, especially because we have some pretty innovative things going on at this regional here. But we'll start off with the first place list being Gardevoir EX. Now, I honestly thought that Gardevoir EX was going to be dead. It was not going to do good, especially because it had a very poor and kind of lackluster performance coming after the World Championships. However, this Gardevoir list is actually quite different if it were still playing the One Monkey Dory or still being able to try to use that Adrenaline Brain kind of combo there. And of course, we still have the Clef Key in the deck for Lost Box decks, kind of mirror match type stuff as well, which can be very helpful, slowing down things like Flip the Script from Fezandipity and a couple other things as well. But some of the key things in the deck that I really want to point out is we are playing a Pokemon League Headquarters in the deck. Attacks used by each basic Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, cost 1 more, which for you, that actually doesn't really matter. You're always going to be putting multiple energies on your Drifloons and your Scream Tails and things like that. You're never going to be attacking with Radiant Greninja because this deck is only using it for the Concealed Cards ability, but really kind of slowing down a lot of the other decks in the format, things like Miraidon, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt, making it harder for these decks to kind of attack and establish kind of some early game pressure as they like to do. The other thing I want to talk about is Secret Box, being the ace-spec of choice in the deck. You can only use this card if you discard 3 other cards from your hand. Then you search your deck for an item, a tool, a supporter, and a stadium and reveal them. Now, Secret Box has really only seen play in Ancient Box so far, being able to discard some Ancient Pokemon and then find your item, your tool, your supporter, and your stadium. But it also makes sense in Gardevoir. If you can go Secret Box, discard 3 Psychic Energies, and then find, your Arven, find like a Buddy Buddy Poffin, maybe like Rare Candy or something, find your Bravery Charm and your Pokemon League Headquarters, you've already established the control element with Pokemon League Headquarters. Bravery Charm being kind of to make your Drifloon hit harder once you pour more energies onto it. Rare Candy into the Gardevoir you need it. Arven or Iono for disruption, or Arven to find some other extra missing pieces you may need. And then you can start taking really early game pressure as well. So, pretty cool and innovative Gardevoir list here. And then we have a couple Lugia lists to look at. And a lot of these are very similar. Minus Ruhl Reddy's. His is very different than the average. I don't know why that popped up, but it's my driver booster. His is very different than kind of the average Lugia deck per se, but we'll get into that. But the only thing I really want to point out for this Lugia list here is we're back to playing Mesagoza. We're playing a couple copies of Nest Ball for Squawkabilly, which seems to be the kind of the thing we're going to be doing going forward. With the Stellar Crown set coming out, Lugia needs to be able to keep up with the aggression that the format has, and the best way to do that is to pretty much have the highest chances you can get to getting double Archeops in the discard pile, and Squawkabilly helps you just dump your hand if you're going first, and then draw 6 cards, hopefully being able to like find an Ultra Ball or something like that to be able to discard some Archeops in discard pile. We're playing Double Fish. We have 2/2 line of Vincino and Cincino, so we can fit in Weird Deer V in Iron Hands EX and our Blood Moon Ursaluna EX as well. I'm a big fan of a lot of these cards. Blood Moon Ursaluna EX is very great for the late game. Iron Hands is very matchup specific, very helpful in the mirror match. Also very helpful into matchups like Gardevoir or Lost Box or anything like that. And then Weird Deer V is just another great end of the game finisher, being able to just put it on the bench, Frontier Road, slide it up into the active spot with like a Jet Energy or something, and then just move all of the energies to it and take a huge knockout on something like a Charizard to win the game. I'm a big fan of Weird Deer V. It really works well in Lugia also, but pretty standard Lugia list here. It's going to be very similar for a couple of others list here. We'll take a look at Roaring Moon, very similar to the Worlds list that we had seen. A couple of things are a little different. I don't think the Worlds winning list played like Enhanced Hammer, but this helps being able to discard that Mist Energy, so then you can be able to Frenzy Gouging, take an instant KO on like a Lugia matchup or something like that, especially with Lugia being very dominant in Baltimore. Definitely was very helpful. Another Lugia list here, but we're going to take a look at Ruhl's list. This is very different, playing only a 1/1 line of Vincino and Cincino, playing the Raikou V, a Pheasantipity, an Iron Bundle, playing a Lightning Energy in the deck, playing only 1 Mist, 4 DTE, playing the Earthen Vessel to be able to help discard the Archeops to find the Lightning Energy and things like that. So Ruhl's list is very different. The exact same as 60. I'm pretty sure that he had played to the World Championships, but once again, kind of in a position here where it works, so why fix what's not broken? So let's keep chugging along here. I'm going to take a look at this Ogerpon Noivern deck here. Very interesting deck. I was not expecting to see anything like this. I didn't even know this deck really existed, to be honest. But with Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon being able to prevent all damage on your... basically being able to prevent all damage from attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability can be very helpful, especially with Lugia being very dominant. You can't Tempest Dive into it. And then, of course, with even other cards like Chien-Pao, Miraidon, Arceus variants, and many other decks as well. Raging Bolt, with their Ogerpon, they have an ability. Regidrogo is very helpful into as well. But then you're even playing the Noivern EX to also kind of help with the big basic matchup, Roaring Moon, Raging Bolt, Ancient Box, and things like that, which can be very helpful. Also, being able to also like scoop up Cyclone, pick up a thing, Penny, pick it up. Very control style deck, but definitely very innovative and very good coming into this meta. When you look at all these decks, I mean, realistically, Lugia has... an ability on it. You block things with Roaring Moon with the Noivern EX, Regidrogo an ability, Palkia with an ability, Snorlax, Pidgeot a little different, Raging Bolt, block it with Noivern, things like that can be very helpful going into this. And then we see Rowan Stavano and Ian Robb playing the Regidrogo. I believe Ian Robb ran it back with the exact same 60 that he had played to the World Championships. Which Hisuian Goodra V-Star is usually something that we haven't really seen very often in a lot of these Regidrogo decks, but it's still a very good card, especially into certain matchups. Can be very helpful also. So, not going to spend too much time on this. We all kind of know what Regidrogo looks like. But this Palkia Dusknoir deck was a deck that I thought looked really cool, and I do want to take some time to talk about this. We're trying to evolve our Duskulls into Dusclops or Dusknoir with things like rare candies and things of that nature. So we can use the Cursed Blast ability, being able to put 13 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then it knocks out your Dusknoir, so you take a prize card. But it helps out being able to kind of just knock out things on a bench, and then Subspace Swell for KO, which can be very helpful. But we're also playing one copy of Greninja EX and a Froakie here for the Shinobi Blade. 170 damage, make search your deck for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So 170 for 1 energy. Find whatever card you want. Can be pretty helpful. And then its other attack, Mirage Barrage, for 3 energy. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Very strong, especially with a lot of the decks in the format being like Gardevoir and being able to hit Lugias potentially, and their Cincinnos can be very helpful. So the Palkia Dusknoir deck I thought was very innovative and pretty cool. And I'm really excited to see if this thing kind of can come out of the woodworks a little bit more with Stellar Crown. We see a Snorlax Pidgeot here. Nothing too crazy going on with this. Got a Blood Moon Ursaluna EX, Luxray in here. See a bunch of Mimikyus going in it. But Secret Box being the ace spec of choice, which actually makes sense. Discard things that you don't care about. Especially with like certain matchups, you already have a Pidgeot EX set up. Discard your other Pidgeot EX. If you don't need Mimikyus in the matchup, discard Mimikyus to get the pieces that you do need. So very, very innovative with the Secret Box in Snorlax. Pidgeot definitely makes sense. We were seeing Hero's Cape for a while, which also is still a really good pick for Snorlax Stall. See another Lugia deck here, another Snorlax Stall. This one's just probably straight Stall with no Pidgeot EX. Little more standard of a Stall deck, kind of the quad Snorlax, but only playing 3 in the 2 Mimikyu instead. For that, there we got our first Raging Bolt Ogerpon deck. Tons of Raging Bolt Ogerpon. People are playing it all the time. It's kind of one of those decks where either just you have it early game or you don't. But nothing too crazy going on here. We see like a Lost Vacuum in the deck, which can be pretty helpful into certain matchups. We see a Pheasantipity in here. I love to see that make its way into Raging Bolt Ogerpon, being able to draw your way out of Flip the Script. Because Raging Bolt Ogerpon has a similar problem that Ancient Box does as well, where Hand Disruption is actually just your worst enemy, and it's really hard for you to come out of it. especially if you can't get energies or anything like that. So the Pheasantipity in the deck makes sense. I've even seen people put Pheasantipity EX into Ancient Box. So pretty cool here. We actually have an Ancient Box deck down here, another Gardevoir there. We'll take a look at this Ancient Box here. Got a Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon in the deck, which I thought was kind of interesting. Got a Tech Decision if it were. Secret Box, the Ace Spec of choice. We got the Eerie, got a Penny. So a little bit more of like an Ancient Box kind of control hybrid deck going on here. So that's pretty cool. Keep coming down. We got another Ogerpon Noivern deck. Played by Dennis. And Dennis is known for playing like stall and kind of, you know, control-y type decks, Lost Box, and things like that. So pretty cool there. We got a Banette Dusknoir deck. Haven't really seen this one too much. I do remember people talking about it a little bit. I believe this actually got played on stream, if I remember correctly. Tyler Matthews playing this deck here. Trying to use the Everlasting Darkness, the Poltergeist, hitting them for big damage, or trying to lock them out of the game can be very helpful. And then the cool thing actually with this deck is you're actually able to attack with Dusknoir if you need to. So being able to use that Shadow Bind during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat, can be very helpful because you're playing literally just all Psychic Energies. You can attack with your Raid now like Kazam as well. So very much like a control-y kind of tempo style deck. And I love to see it. We even see a Salvatore in here as well. Salvatore, a very cool card that we don't get to see very often in a lot of decks here. Got just straight up Roaring Moon again with a little bit spice. We got a Dusknoir in here. We got Darkrai in here. Got the Iron Bundle. So a little bit more of a kind of hybrid Roaring Moon type deck. Getting a little innovative here. I like to see that. Another Ogerpon Noivern. We see a couple more Lugias. Nothing too crazy. Kind of just, yep, the 4-3. We don't see a Weird Deer in this one, however. So it looks like people are either playing Weird Deer or they're playing not. Maybe 2 Mysticos. We see a Carmine in there. Lugia just is what it is. JW Kriwall playing Lugia, however, kind of interesting. But doing really well with Lugia. Finishing 33rd with Lugia. Pretty cool. Love to see that. I like to see some of my favorite people in the Pokemon community like JW Kriwall, Andrew Mahone, Jesse Parker, all those guys. I like seeing them play kind of my favorite deck. Lugia has always been just kind of my bread and butter, and I've always really enjoyed the deck. So glad to see that a lot of people are picking it up, especially some of these big name players like Ruhl Reddy, you know, JW Kriwall, Jesse Parker playing it, and a bunch of people like that as well. So pretty cool. We see a Carmine in here. We see a Nest Ball to get the Squawkabilly. We got a Weird Deer in here. So pretty cool. We see a 16 energy, not 17, which seems to be kind of the standard. Either play 16 or 17 energy. We see a Cloth Electrode deck, however. Pretty interesting deck. I did see this a little bit when I was kind of peeking before I made the video. I didn't really want to look into it too much. We got the Brute Bonnie here with the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, the Electrode V, the Cloth like we had before, the Raiden Hisui and Sneasel playing a new Petra Runt in here. As long as Pokemon's in the X spot, put 5 more damage on your opponent's poison Pokemon during Pokemon checkup. So that's pretty cool. And then you can like Poison Chain, cause it to be confused and make it so they can't retreat the next turn. So that's pretty neat. We got the Iron Bundle in here. We got Kabalion to help with Charizard. Got Pheasantipity, got the Blue Moon Ursaluna. We got Binding Mochi in the deck. Attacks used by the poison Pokemon. These cards attached to do 40 more damage, which is pretty neat. So definitely very innovative deck here. I like to see Cloth Electrode, kind of the meme deck if it were, coming back out of the woodworks. The last Cloth type deck we saw was like Cloth Caramorant, which I actually made a video about, which is pretty cool. So definitely check out that video. And while you're checking out that video, definitely don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button, because I really would appreciate it. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. And actually, funny enough, the time of me recording this video is September 17th. And that's actually 1 year for us on YouTube. So that feels really good. We've been on YouTube for a year now. And I just want to thank every single one of you guys for always just being there and supporting. And always just being understanding if I can't post a video kind of every single Wednesday or Friday or Sunday. Because I am kind of a one-man show for the most part. You know, my girlfriend Palace taught me how to edit videos and make thumbnails and all that stuff. But after that, it was kind of just, you know how to do it, so figure the rest out yourself. So definitely glad to see that. Let's keep going down here. We got a Charizard Pidgeot deck. Charizard did not do super great at this event. We got an Entei V in here, but nothing too crazy other than that with the Charizard deck. We got Arc Armorers. We got a Goldango here. Cameron, of course, playing Goldango. It's kind of the bread and butter that they're known to play. Nothing crazy with this Gold Dangle, is very similar. Seen Arc Armor Rouge deck, kind of very similar to what we've been seeing. Raikou V, however, in the deck is actually kind of interesting. Playing the Legacy Energy to be able to attack with the Raikou, be able to attack with, you know, Iron Hands if we need to, or anything like that, which is pretty cool, actually. So very, very innovative with the Arc Armor Rouge deck. Another Gardevoir, another Regidrogo, Charizard. We got just straight up Pidgeot control here with a bunch of one-ofs. We got the Radiant Jirachi in the deck. We got Genesect in here to make it so they can't use A-Specs. We got Regieleki in there. We got Luxray V, Chi-Yu, Noivern, you know, Blood Moon Ursa Luna. We got Sandshrew. We got Mawile. So truly just Pidgeot control type deck. The last thing we've seen was just like straight Pidgeot control was like the Wigglytuff control deck. Actually played by Tord Reklev, just cooking up this crazy control deck. Leave it to Tord to always be cooking up something crazy. Another Lugia, Ogerpon, Noivern here, which is pretty cool. Okay, keep going down the list. Nothing too crazy between our Charizard. This one kind of like a Charizard Dusknoir type deck without the Pidgeot EX. That's the only thing going on with that list. We got our Ancient Box here. We got Miraidon, the only lone Miraidon, to kind of make its way into day 2, but very similar to like Jesse Parker's list that he played at Worlds. The only thing different is I believe Jesse Parker wasn't playing Iron Hands. I could be wrong though. I'm not too sure. But Miraidon making its way in here. We got Arceus Dusknoir as well. I've seen this list quite a bit around on the rank ladder and stuff. It's basically just trying to evolve things into Dusknoir or Dusclops to Curse Blast to then take a KO. My goodness. Then to take a KO with Arceus V-Star to then try to follow it up with maybe like a Raid Alakazam kind of damage manipulation or counter manipulation after that, which is pretty cool. Keep scrolling down here. We got a Darkrai Dusknoir deck played by Alex Shemansky here. Just trying to evolve Darkrai V into Darkrai V-Star to get some of your pieces back, and then being able to obviously just evolve Duskull into Dusknoir with rare candies and stuff to try to get into those. We got Petrarump, Fezandipity, got more Pekko and things like that in here. Got Roaring Moon EX. So kind of like a Roaring Moon, Darkrai, Dusknoir type deck, but seeing a lot of innovative things like that, which has been pretty cool. A lot of more Ancient Box down here. We got an Ursaluna Iron Valiant deck. We've seen this deck a little bit. A lot of people made videos about it when it kind of first came out of the woodworks. But playing Blood Moon Ursaluna or just a Blood Moon Ursaluna with Battle Hardened. No Blood Moon Ursaluna except just for the one copy there. When you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench, you may attach up to 2 basic fighting energy from your hand to this Pokemon, and then Mad Bite does more damage, and then you try to, you know, Iron Valiant EX your way into taking quick, easy KOs on small Pokemon. Kind of like the Entei Iron Valiant deck used to as well. We got Lone Iron Thorns in here. Nothing too crazy. Very similar to kind of the winning list. Iron Thorns is going to be Iron Thorns. Quad Thorns, be disruptive, take KOs, move energies. Nothing crazy there. We got Last Zone Dragapult. Pretty cool deck. Lost Zone Dragapult's kind of my least favorite Lost Zone deck to play, unfortunately. But still really cool to see Lost Zone Dragapult making its way in here. Got Temple of Sinnoh to deal with the Lugia. We got Mirage Gates in there. We got rare candies to get into the Dragapults. We got Dracolox for the Recon Directive. So a lot of cool pieces moving around in there. We got another Quad Thorns. Tons of Regidrogo. Another Roaring Moon. Lost Sablezard here. Pretty much just the same Lost Sablezard deck we've been seeing. So this one's playing Secret Box instead of Prime Catcher to be able to help get some extra pieces and things like that, to be able to churn through the deck a little faster. Secret Box is kind of one of those things where if you're willing to, if your deck can willingly sacrifice 3 cards from their hand, then you'll be able to pull a bunch of stuff out of your deck, like an item, a tool, a supporter, and a stadium, to really just start setting up, get your cores, get all your pieces moving, and things like that, which can be nice. A couple more Charizard Pidgeot, we got Raging Bolt Ogerpon, another Lost Sablezard. This is going to be the last deck we're going to talk about right down here. Is going to be this Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, the only person making it into day 2 with Chien-Pao Baxcalibur, but they're also playing the Palkia V-Star in here, so we're kind of back to this weird hybrid Chien-Pao deck where it's also playing Palkia, kind of very similar to Cyrus Davis, their 9th place list from 2023 World Championships, where they played like Palkia with Chien-Pao and then had, I think, Baxcalibur also in the deck to kind of have a couple extra moving pieces. But Palkia is a really good card right now, and even going forward. I mean, being able to have the new stadium, Arrow Zero headquarters, and just expand your bench and smack for 300 plus can be really helpful and really cool. But pretty neat deck, pretty cool to see that kind of making its way into day 2 as well. So we'll take a quick look at the stats here. We got You know, 17% being Regidroga, got about 14 for Lugia, got about 10 for Snorlax, Stall, Ancient Box, and Charizard respectively, 6/7 for Raging Bolt, Roaring Moon, and then we got 5.5 for Gardevoir, Ogerpon, 2% for Pidgeot Control and Arceus, then we got about 2% again for Lost Zone Box and Iron Thorns, and then a bunch of 1% being Palkia, Banette, Goldango, Cloth Electro, Darkrai, Miraidon, Chien-Pao, Dragapult, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. So that's going to do it for us today. Once again, if you guys enjoyed the content I've been making so far on the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!